Hey, hello everyone, this is Sakura Diesel here, and welcome back to another Ace Attorney Marathon and such. So, both Bonnie and Justin will be here hopefully shortly and everything. They're just gonna be running a little late and everything. But until then, and a phone, I think I know who that is. Hold on, folks. Anyway, well, yeah, as soon as I just said that, I guess it was on the phone, ESM. So basically, he'll definitely be here shortly. I'm sure Barney will also be here shortly. They're just both going to be running late. But until then, we're going to go ahead and get the stream started. So basically, last time that we left off with Rise from the Ashes, we basically did the second day trials and everything. We basically took the testimony of both Officer Meekins as well as Officer Marshall, and basically learned that while there was no murder in the police department at 515, that didn't mean that, like, Bruce Goodman didn't get murdered at all in the police department. He probably got murdered a little bit earlier and probably went in with someone who had an ID number of all the 7s and everything. And basically, before we even ended the trial, we basically did learn from Lara that, yes, they did actually use forged evidence in order to get a serial killer named Joe Dark, get a guilty verdict, and even executed and such. So yeah, things are definitely not looking good for Lotta and everything, and we definitely have a lot of things planned and such to basically make sure we discover the truth and all that, and try to see who actually murdered Bruce Goodman, why did they do that, and all that other good stuff. So basically, for this little session right here, I'm just basically gonna go ahead and finish up the last day investigation, because like I said, this investigation is pretty much a long one, so pretty much buckle up and everything, because like I said, this session is only gonna focus on the investigation and everything and nothing else. So pretty much once we get done with the investigation and such, we'll go ahead and stop the stream right there, and then the only thing we got left to worry about is just the final 3 trials and such in this game, which pretty much I'll explain what might happen during that session. But till then, let's go ahead and get started with the 3rd and final day of investigation. Let's go. And pretty much I'll go ahead and take over all the voices and such for now until ESM gets here. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Yeah, 7749, yes. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SO9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming, even though it's, like, literally right here in the file, and you also just mentioned it, like, last time in session. Would you stop with this chair, alright? Anyway, anyway, Phoenix, you probably already know that to begin with, but whatever, as we all know, you just have short-term memory loss. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Dark. It seems like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office in an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. Permanent picture? Let's talk about the incident first. I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean she provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could just testify properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true. Even though he may not have known it, Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must not have been able to face up what she did, especially not to Emma. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred? Dark knocked Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. And Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl? I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma, you've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that incident. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago. You must have been 14. That's understandable. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies, and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at the time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective's office and the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective? I better have another talk with her. Alrighty. Well, before we do have a talk, let's head down to the police department real quick. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall! Never thought things turned out this way when I woke up this morning. Hey, Shara, Sarah, you never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? Should've known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance. We all know I won't be coming back. You never see me in any other games after this, so yeah, that's true. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If there was ever a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Because I don't begin to steak lunch today. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reports were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, alright. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there's a good chance that the knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. The facts have been concealed with forged evidence? The case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SO9 incident left behind. Let's talk about them. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, is taken care of. The star was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? They did something to him too. The commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambino. I mean Dame McGann and Lana Skye. The investigating lead, Dame McGann, and second in command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. And Dame McGann was so good that he could actually solve crime while sleeping with his eyes closed, even standing up. He was that powerful. You thought he was actually scary when he opened his eyes. You don't want to see him when he closes his eyes and he's still breathing. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Dame McGann, new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prospector Skye was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma says something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina. Her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. On a secret. It all started 2 years ago. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he? Your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean the prosecutors? I knew it. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have been really close with his brother. The day the SO9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered. The evidence locker was empty. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. Someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Dame McGann. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I wouldn't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you. When you become a real scientific investigator, Adios, Bambina. Wait, did you have that cap closed the entire time? Hell yeah, I did. I don't even need a drink out of this flask. I just pretend there's water in it until I'm actually all better. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. Things seem kind of quiet around here today. You're right. The chief of detectives seems the same, though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right. We could come back here later. Well, we do need to talk to Lana, so let's go. Lana! Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence? I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risk. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SO9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believe that no matter what happened, you always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15, there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana, what the witness, Miss Starr, said? About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife? Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so faced before. It's true. I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he was still working the crime scenes. Damon Gant was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filled. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you can use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SO9 case was critical to his resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the investigating lead was Damon Gant, right? Yes. Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. We even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place. When he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of a crime was me. Now you tell us. Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stage, and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So we waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person who run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dart. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies? Prosecutor Marshall, victim Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dart. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dart had incurred a minor concussion and laid unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her, after all her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dart under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident? That's right. Quite a coincidence, I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to the extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dart. Life doesn't end with the close of the case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dart at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself, the Chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the Chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Alright, well, let's go ahead and take a look. This place is always pretty empty, but today is deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media and tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think fiesta is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the Chief's office. Alright, new location time. Here we go. Yeah, I've always loved this room. Whoa, where am I? In the Chief's office, silly. At least that's what it says on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. Interesting that you can learn, the organ in kindergarten, but whatever. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me the notes. I never could remember where C was. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. But that paper he was reading on his desk. So, righto, have you been swimming lately? No I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too, with Mr. Marshall's misconduct and Lana's prerogative statement. Prerogative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence. 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to corroborate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. Can't seem to put my finger on it, though. Well, better put it in the court record, then. Anyway, I like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm about to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. Oh shit. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Hold on a second, folks. I might have to edit this part up. Alrighty, there we go. Alright, let's continue. So hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend.